Nathan Cole pulled his horse to a stop when he heard the agonizing broken moans like the final breath caught in a dying throat. He stepped into the yard and then he saw them. 3 Apache girls were hanging upside down from a wooden beam. Their ankles bound tightly with coarse rope. Their dresses were torn to shreds, exposing their undergarments. Their bodies were bruised by the sun and the lash. Dust clung to their skin, and dried sweat left streaks of salt. But what made Nathan freeze were not the wounds. It was their eyes. Eyes of those who had lingered too long on the edge of death. One girl stirred, her voice raspy like sand. "It hurts." Another broke into sobs, her cry shattered by exhaustion. "Please help us." The last one opened her eyes and stared straight into the space in front of Nathan, not daring to look at him, then whispered, each word dropping like pebbles onto burning ground, We will bury your children. Just please do not leave us." Nathan turned away instantly, his jaw clenched tight. He grabbed a blanket from his saddle and threw it over them before taking another step. Not a glance more. Not a single question. "Stay calm," he said, voice low and steady. "I am here." He circled around, standing slightly to the side, his back turned, hand reaching for his knife. As the steel blade sliced into the rope, the sound of it snapping echoed in the midday heat. A small sound. Yet to Nathan, it was like a vow spoken in silence. In a place this brutal, kindness is never loud, and sometimes it begins with not looking. Nathan kept his back turned as the last ropes gave way. He heard the bodies hit the ground softly, lightly, as if afraid to break something already too fragile. He set his hat down on the dirt, then took half a step back, keeping just enough distance not to startle them. "Stay still," he said, his voice low. "Breathe slow. The sun can make you pass out again." The 3 girls curled up under the blanket. They trembled, not just from pain, but from shame, a kind of hurt that runs deeper than bruises. One girl let out a sob, trying to pull the torn fabric of her dress over her body. Nathan did not turn around. He crouched by the edge of a dry well, scooped up water, and set a canteen a few steps from them. "There is water there," he said. "Drink it in small sips." After a moment, a shaky voice asked, "Aren't you afraid?" Nathan was silent for a beat, then answered, "Yes, I am." He paused, then added slowly, "But fear is not a reason to walk away." He tore his thick coat into strips and laid them on the ground. "Wrap your wounds. If you need, I will hold the lantern." Without looking, one of the girls gathered her courage and whispered, "Did you look at us?" Nathan shook his head, knowing they could not see him. "I only looked to see if anyone was still breathing," he said. That was enough. Hot winds swept through the yard. A crow landed on a wooden post and croaked harshly. Nathan stepped into the sunlight, casting his shadow over them. He asked no questions about what happened, demanded no answers. He simply did what needed to be done, like mending a fence after a storm or pulling a calf out of the mud. Once they had taken some water and their breathing had steadied, Nathan finally said, "My name is Nathan. I live nearby." He pointed toward the distance. "You are safe for now." One girl whispered, "We thought no one would ever come back." Nathan looked toward the fields, eyes squinting against the sun. "Sometimes," he said, "the only thing left to do is to come back." As the words left his mouth, a dry crack split the air. A bullet slammed into the wooden post where he had just stood. Nathan did not curse. He moved quickly, pulling all 3 girls down to the dirt. "Keep low," he ordered. "The trap has been set," and in that moment amid the dust and burning sun, they understood. The man who would not look had chosen to stay. The bullet slammed into the wooden post, splinters from the rotting timber flying like shards of broken bone. Nathan reacted before thought could catch up. He lunged forward, dragging all 3 girls to the ground, his body shielding them for a brief moment, but long enough to save their lives. "Stay low," he hissed, his voice tight. "Do not lift your head." The second shot tore through the air and struck the dirt where they had just crawled. Nathan understood immediately there was a sniper on the western hillside. elevated with a clear view. And waiting. "This is not a robbery," he said quickly. "It is a trap." He spotted a dry trench running across the yard filled with cracked mud and brittle grass. "Follow me." "Crawl." The three girls gritted their teeth, dragging their battered bodies after him. Blood soaked into the cracked soil. But no one cried out. Only the sound of ragged breaths and pounding hearts filled their ears. When they reached the trench, Nathan gave the horse a light slap. It turned and galloped straight toward his ranch. "Go home," he whispered. "Raise the alarm." One of the girls grabbed his sleeve, her eyes wide with panic. "They knew. They knew you would stop." Nathan paused for half a beat. "How?" She swallowed hard, her voice trembling. "We were hung there." As bait, the third shot cracked, hitting the edge of the trench, flinging dirt into their faces. Nathan pulled them deeper in, using his body to shield the hill-facing side. He felt it. Whoever was up there was waiting for him to lean in to do exactly what he had just done. "Who is it?" Nathan asked, eyes locked on the ridge. One of the girls broke down in tears. He said, "You were the kind who would never walk away." Nathan gave a dry laugh, void of humor. Well, he was right. They crawled along the trench, each meter stretching like a mile. At the end, a narrow path led to an abandoned shack. Half the roof collapsed. Door hanging loose. Nathan signaled for them to stop. Listening. No gunfire for a few seconds. The shooter was adjusting. "Listen to me," Nathan said, voice low and firm. "We are not running. We are disappearing." They slipped into the shack just as the next bullet cracked through the air, burying itself in the dirt behind them. Inside, it was dark and stifling. The smell of damp wood and dead rats thick in the air. Nathan